players like Fernandes and KDB are not represented in this wildcard drafts because their fixtures are kind of tough and they've not seemed to find their form.
Tough time never lasts. Only tough people last.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of FPheLp, where we bring you the best and most reliable fantasy Premier League information you need. So I put up a post on Twitter to vote on what you guys would love to see, and one of the options was a wildcard draft. So this is what I've delivered to you. This is the wildcard draft. I mean, subject to change based on how much you have in your bank or which players you actually prefer. This is a quick draft. I'll go through why I made the selections, so stay tuned and let's enjoy the video. Okay, so for the goalkeeper spot, I went with a double Southampton pair, which is McCarthy as well as Foster, and I kind of go for this pairing because in case maybe the main goalkeeper gets hit, the sub takes over. But even with Southampton, Foster isn't the substitute goalkeeper. There's Gunn as well, Angus Gunn. So with that, there's a bit of an issue over there, but yeah, you never know what might happen. So with that, at the end of the day, the whole point is to have a 4.5 goalkeeper and a substitute. And with this formation, I went with McCarthy because Southampton have kind of looked good defensively so far, despite the craziness and madness going on everywhere. They have looked the most stable of the lot. So yeah, McCarthy is the main goalkeeper for this side. In defense, we have the ever-present Trent Alexander-Arnold partnered with Taylor as well as Chilwell. And with this, I've gone with Trent because he is Trent. He takes set pieces and all the like. But in case you don't have enough funds to go for Trent, you could go for Robertson. And I feel despite Liverpool having the blip in form and conceding 7 goals to Aston Villa, they're still the same side. They were without their main goalkeeper. I mean, even with that shouldn't have merited such a performance, but I don't see them conceding such a huge amount again. And for these two, they are ever present when it comes to producing returns, so you can't go wrong with Trent and Robertson. With Taylor, Burnley will be back with Pope in goal as usual. Ben Mee will be returning, as well as Tarkowski, who are very vital in their defensive shape. They were without them and there was a bit of transfer speculation around them, so I think that hindered them starting. But if that is cleared up, hopefully, I'm sure they'll be back to their defensive best. Sheffield would have been a good shout, but so far they've not looked as impressive. Wolves are also a team to look out for. They have this new left back called Nuri, yeah, Ait Nuri. So he's one you should look out for. He'll be playing in the left back position. Vinagre has been transferred to Olympiacos, so he's definitely going to start in this week's game. So that is confirmed. Yeah. So with that, I mean, Chilwell has been impressive because he played in his debut game. He scored a goal, had an assist. He's on set pieces. These are the things you love to see. And in case you are not impressed with this defensive setup, and maybe you want the likes of Castagne or who again? Yeah, in case you want Castagne, you could go in for Castagne instead of Chilwell. That's if you have enough funds for it. As you can see, I don't have enough funds for such a transfer, so in case you want to do that, you could go for Robertson, who is just there. So yeah, Dean would have been a good shout, but Everton with Pickford in goal are a very leaky defensive side. It's like no matter what you have, no matter how well Dean plays, Pickford is likely to kind of fumble something, just like Liverpool with Adrian. So with Liverpool, with Adrian in goal, it's kind of hard relying on them. Even with Alisson, sometimes they have slip-ups, but the likelihood is higher with Adrian in goal, just like it is with Pickford. So yeah, in case you want to switch it up a little, this is one you can go for. And Taylor is not necessarily a constant. If you want Lamptey, if you want Lamptey, you could go in for Lamptey instead of Taylor, because maybe Lamptey is more attacking, he might produce returns, so that will be a favorable pick. But with that being said, this I think is a good enough for me. I wouldn't go for Kyle Walker-Peters since I have McCarthy in goal, because doubling up on a defensive team, it's profitable, but when it goes wrong, it goes super wrong, like we saw with maybe United and Liverpool last week. If it goes wrong, it goes really, really wrong. So yeah, you should just put that in mind. You can, if you are doubling up, you are certain that, okay, I believe this team is not going to concede any goal in a while, so like, yeah, you are safe with that. So with the defense and the goalkeeper, this is it. You could go with any variation you want. Most of the time, I prefer going for full backs instead of center backs, because they are likely to produce more returns compared to the center backs. So yeah, and with the formation, you'll notice that I have Mitchell and Dan. Dan is definitely not going to play. In case maybe Ferguson is fit with Crystal Palace, he's likely to come into the team. But Mitchell, for now, with Patrick Van Aanholt injured at the moment, he fills that void. So if you notice, he has played every single match of the season so far with just 1 assist, which is enough. You don't need for a right now his price has gone up to 4.1, but for a 4.0, 4.1 player, you don't expect him to be playing week in, week out. He's just a placeholder for the likes of, if maybe something is to happen, because we are in a time where players are likely to pick up the virus. So yeah, with the likes of Mitchell, who are certain to play, with Patrick Van Aanholt currently injured, I think it's a good replacement to have. So yeah, and Crystal Palace have some good games coming up, so not a bad shout. So this is basically the defense and goalkeeper selection done. Now to the most interesting part of the team, the midfield. I couldn't have set up this team without putting in the dynamic duo of the season so far, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. They've been impressive. It's more of like telepathy, knowing where each other would be. It's like prime Suarez and Sturridge vibes, you understand? With Bale also coming, I don't know how much that will deprive Son of maybe some goal returns, because Kane is now going to have Son as well as Bale to feed. So it might maybe take away from Son a little, but as things stand, Son is in the form of his life. I don't think you can go wrong with taking him at the moment, as well as Kane. So that was the main reason I went for the Spurs double up, Kane, Son. In case you don't want Kane, you could downgrade him. And just to put it out there, Aguero is actually fit. He has started training with his side, and I'm not sure if he's going to start this weekend, but if he is, he's actually 10.4. That's 2 million less than the big man Harry Kane, 10.4. Aguero is 10.4 at the moment. So in case maybe you're thinking of bringing him in, it's not a bad, because we've already noticed how deprived Manchester City are without a striker, a well-known striker up top. So yeah, so that's done with the Spurs double up. We have Grealish appearing in this team, and if you've been observant on how Aston Villa have performed so far, he has been really, really, really lively in every fixture he has played so far. Apart from the Sheffield game, which was a very tight contest, the Fulham game, he was impressive. He had his goal. Liverpool, I mean, you need not say much. 3 assists, 2 goals. And even with England on international duty, he was amazing. He provided Dominic Calvert-Lewin with his first debut goal for England, which was really, really amazing. So, I mean, when it comes to Aston Villa, Grealish he was the main guy last season. It looks like he's going to be the main guy this season, providing the likes of Watkins. I don't see how it can go wrong. I don't see how it can go wrong at all. Their fixtures are not the most difficult apart from Leicester, and we saw with Leicester concede 4 goals against that was West Ham, yeah. Conceding 4 goals against West Ham. I mean, imagine what the champions crashes could do. So, I mean, good. He's a good pick. He's a good pick. If you think there's a better one, drop it in the comment section. Let's see what you think. Mohamed Salah, I don't actually need to say much, but one thing is that with Mane fit again, Mane can actually be a good shout because his price has dropped to 11.9. If you want to save yourself some good amount of money, why not go in for Mane? I mean, Salah Mane is like, pick your poison. This one might perform, this one might flop, this one might flop, this one might perform. It's you just have to pray that your decision is right. So yeah, in case you have a hunch that Mane might perform and maybe his price might go up, why not hop on it? Who knows? But Salah is clearly this season, penalties are very important. He's a penalty taker. Why not stick with him? So yeah. Wilf Zaha. As I said, Crystal Palace have an amazing run of fixtures coming up. Brighton, Fulham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, Newcastle. You can just see over there, greens all day. You can't. And he also plays, I don't know if he's going to take the penalty role away from Ayew after Ayew missed it in a couple of game weeks. I think game week 2 against Manchester United. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to take up the role. So for now, it's questionable. But yeah, Zaha is going to be an amazing pick. He tweeted out, someone actually tweeted at him that should he pick him his fantasy Premier League team, and he was like, no, like plain no. It's like his humor side is just dead right now because of, sometimes he has been getting some racial abuse and all that, but yeah. But he's actually a good pick to consider. Another that needs no introduction is James Rodriguez. James Rodriguez has absolutely buzzed the league since his arrival. He has just, I'm sure if it wasn't for Dominic Calvert-Lewin outshining him, he might have been a top contender for Player of the Month. That's how impressive he's been so far. With 3 goals and 2 assists so far this season, I mean, he's buzzed it. 7.8. I mean, Everton have looked really, really good. And with his partner up top, Calvert-Lewin, they had to appear in this wildcard draft. So here is the team. If you are considering actually, or if you've already activated your wildcard, this is a team I think you could go in for. With Ryan Brewster, as I said, with the virus around, you never know who might contract it. Someone might be dropped from their team. So for me, the formation I always go with is 3-5-2 because the midfield is the heart of my team in every situation. So I do well to always pump up the best players I can inside the midfield. With that being done, I can only play 2 strikers with the 3 back. So with that, Kane and Calvert-Lewin are the 2 main strikers, with Brewster being the 3rd option, the first option on the bench, but the 3rd option for the strike force. So with that, in case someone can't play, maybe there's an injury, blow to someone has contracted the virus, I know for sure that Brewster is my first substitute on the bench, so he comes in to replace whoever doesn't play. The second substitute on the bench is Mitchell, and the third is Dunn, who I know for sure won't actually get any play time. So it's between Brewster and Mitchell. Hopefully the team doesn't get to a stage where 3 people or 4 people can't play, then that will be just a bad game week. So yeah, this is the wildcard draft. If you have any other suggestions, you can drop it in. This is basically the wildcard draft. If you have any wildcard ideas or wildcard team drafts, you could hit us up on FUT360. I'll leave the link in the description box. Maybe it'll pop up on the screen as well. So you could send us the pictures of your wildcard drafts. Let's see how it looks. If we can chip in with any advice, I'll do well to do that. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I've delivered as promised. This is the wildcard draft. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you pick some. If you can notice, some players such as KDB, Sterling, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, the Chelsea boys, Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Pulisic have not seemed to feature yet, but with this team there's a whole lot of flexibility you can achieve with it, taking people out, bringing people in. As I said, Aguero, if you want Aguero, you could replace him with Harry Kane. If you want maybe KDB in your team, you could take out Harry Kane, put in maybe one of the cheaper boys such as let's take Wilson. Saint Maximin is also another good shout, so in case you are interested. So maybe it's likely going to be, who was here? Wilfred Zaha. Yeah, you take out maybe James Rodriguez, you look for KDB, shoving in your team, you are good to go. Or that means you have your 3 premium midfielders in Salah, KDB, Son. You've gone with a cheaper strike force in Calvert-Lewin and Wilson. Then you have your budget midfielders but effective as well in Grealish and Wilfred Zaha. That means you're not doubling up in any of the teams when it comes to your strike force, like your midfield and your strikers. You're not doubling up on any, you understand? So you can, it's all about who you feel can produce something in that game week. So you look at the fixtures, you'll be like, okay, let me take this one out, Or Bruno Fernandes might, we might see Rashford play as a striker since Martial is, he has the red card. So, and I think straight away, so he might miss like 2 or 3 games. So we might see, I don't know if Cavani will start now, but I feel like Rashford will play up top. It's up to them, they'll figure it out, but that's where you also try and get your hunch. Okay, will Rashford play up top? Will Greenwood play up top? Should I bring them in? Should I take that risk? This season has been crazy. It's like very unpredictable. You can't really pinpoint the ones that are going to actually perform as well as we used to. So once you have the hunch, you just drop it in the comment section or at us on Twitter so that we can also join in the party. So yeah, this is basically the video, the wildcard draft. In case you like it, in case you think it's a good shout, you could recreate it. That's if you've played your wildcard, or maybe if you have to play your wildcard in a few days. Why not? So yeah, this is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment on what you think or which players should come in. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Have an amazing week, an amazing weekend, and peace.
Hun ikke den type, der vil have sit navn derude. Hun et mål for aftenen, ruller med mange